Hey homeschool friends, welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. I think it is going to be a really fun video. It's very reflective and thoughtful, all of these things that I love doing at the beginning of the school year to really help me get into a good mindset to have a wonderful homeschool year. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about three main focuses that I have for this upcoming school year, for the 2022-2023 school year. So stick around if you are curious what those three things are. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to the channel if you are new here, or welcome back if you have been coming for a while. So like I said, I'm going to be talking about some specific focuses or intentions I have for this upcoming school year. So to start with, I guess, a little bit about my family. So I have four kiddos. My oldest is 8.5, he's a boy, and then my daughter is 7, and then I have twin 4.5-year-olds. So those are the ages of my kids. I have been homeschooling since my oldest was in preschool. So we haven't done public school. I mean, other than the fact that I have been putting my twins into a preschool a couple days a week, but that really is more for my mental health as well as just it's fun for them. So I have been homeschooling for 4 years, which doesn't seem like that long because some people have been homeschooling a lot longer. But I feel like when I think back to the person I was 4 years ago and getting started and the person I am now, I have grown a ton as a homeschool mom. There have been many ups and downs and challenges and like amazing successes, like when your kid starts to read for the first time, sort of successes. But I have definitely changed the way I view homeschooling. And so that's just been on my mind, and I've been thinking about this upcoming school year. And so I wanted to chat a little bit with you guys about my three main goals, intentions, focuses for this upcoming school year. And honestly, I wanted to call these focuses, not necessarily changes, because I'm pretty happy and satisfied with our homeschool. I'm satisfied with the curriculum we're using. I'm satisfied with where my kids are. Like, I'm not feeling this itch to change things. I mean, I always see new and wonderful curriculum and think that could work, but I'm not going to. I really like what we have going on. And so I really wanted to focus in on certain ideas and mindsets for the year. So let's just hop into those. So my first focus for the year is simplicity. So, simplicity. I feel like that's just such a big, broad term. But when it comes to homeschool, what I feel like that means to me is that we are going to try not to complicate things. I am going to try not to overload our schedule, overload our subjects, overload our day. And I feel like I have that tendency because there's just so much out there and I want my kids to learn so many things and I get very excited about things. But I feel like they thrive better when we are more focused and just are able to use what we have. And so I actually have been focusing a lot on simplifying. I talked about this a bit in my planner video, which I will link above, where I talked about how I'm using the new Sunlight planner. And you can see some of that in just how I set up the planner. I've been working all summer on different things. Some of them are more just chores and things like that. But specifically for homeschooling, I really wanted to simplify the load. There were times last year where I just felt really burdened or heavy by all the things I had to do or get done or think through or organize or plan or any of those kinds of words, that I feel like by the end of the year I was just burnt out. And so this year I don't want to be like that. I think some of it is just this need for control to make sure I have it all handled so I won't miss anything, so I won't screw anything up. But I don't think I need to do that. I don't think that's helping us. And so I'm simplifying in our schedule, which I will be coming out with a homeschool schedule video here shortly. We just recently started school back up, like last week. And so I want to feel out the schedule a bit before I share it with you. But it is a more simplified schedule, both on the yearly, weekly, daily type schedules. I'm trying to really simplify that. But the place I feel like I'm simplifying the most is probably in my planning and preparing. So in the past, I would plan all of our lessons for the week on Sunday, which wasn't a big deal, but I wasn't necessarily just doing the next lesson. I was trying to like do a lesson and a half so we could finish all of this Abeka program or finish our math program by the end of the year. So I was just doing all of these like calculations in my head. I'm like, I need to do 6 lessons in 4 days, and it just made my planning just a lot more like stressful because then I'd have to look through everything and I'd have to see what I'm going to pick and choose, and I can't do everything. So it just took more of me to do that and then to execute it also took a lot of me. So I feel like I can't do that again. I mean, we had to do that because I switched curriculum halfway through the year, roughly. And so I'm hoping we don't have to do that again. And if not, we'll just do the next lesson. So I'm literally not planning on Sundays, guys. It actually is causing me a little anxiety right now, but I'm just trying to write down what we did because a lot of it is just do the next lesson. So I'm trying that, and it is freeing up a lot of time. It is freeing up a lot of time. Additionally, I have simplified the prep I am doing with the worksheets for my kids. You guys, I had such a good idea. I'm not sure, maybe everybody does this, but prior to this, I was collecting their worksheets for the week and I put them in different folders like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday folders, and we'd pull them out. But then I was managing all these papers and the papers all over the house. So instead of that, this year I am using the flex binders. I got one for my 8-year-old and one for my 7-year-old, and I just filled it full of all of their worksheets for 6 weeks. And then I am going to schedule a specific planning day, which I talked a little bit about in my planning video. So that is my plan. So I'm like not dealing with paper right now. We're just flipping to the right lesson and I'm highlighting what they need to do. And if it's independent work, such as their handwriting or things like that, then I just tell them they have to do the blue highlighted page and then they can just find their assignments that they have to do. So hopefully that will continue to work, but so far so good. So those are some examples of like simplifying like the logistics, the things I have to do. But I also really want to focus on simplifying my mindset, the way I view homeschool. Honestly, I just want to be able to kind of slow down and be more present with my kids. Be there for all of those things instead of just trying to hurry them through or be like, okay, focus, focus, focus. We gotta go. Like I have to get to your brothers. We have all this stuff to do. We have to do this. It'd be before the end of the day. And I just felt more frantic, and I'm trying to be in the moment and to be present with them, to be available to them and not be so hurried. Even if like say it costs us a little time and we have to go longer into the school day than we had to before, I am trying to view my job as the homeschool mom as one of my primary goals for the day. And if I do that well, I have succeeded. You know, I feel like in the past I tried to do that plus 5 other things, if that makes sense. So I realize that's been a bit of a ramble for that first focus, but simplification is really probably the big focus for the year. So if you don't stay for the other 2 focuses, this is the main one. And I'm hoping I can handle this, and I'm hoping I really flourish under it. So that is the first focus. Moving on to the second one, which hopefully won't take me quite so long to explain. My second focus is just to be more engaged. Be more engaged with the curriculum. So what I mean by that is, first, it's just my personality that I tend to sometimes feel overwhelmed. And so then I want to just follow a curriculum and just check the boxes and just trust the process, which is a good thing for the most part. I feel like, yes, but. And that's the but I'm getting to, is the fact that sometimes I feel like because I've just been so trusting of the curriculum and the resources I haven't spent much time thinking about how to teach certain things, how to teach number sense, how to teach grammar and composition, how to teach spelling. And because of that, I've just been relying on the fact that I'm going to get these results because that's what the curriculum says it'll do. But I want to be more engaged in the sense of like, I want to not just take curriculum at face value, but to take my own knowledge and research and understanding of these areas of education and be able to add or slow or speed up or whatever it is to really meet my kids where they're at in a more thoughtful and engaged way, as opposed to being a little disengaged and hoping that the curriculum does what I need it to do. And so some examples of this is I am trying to keep better track of, say, the words that they struggle to spell. So some spelling words. And so say we go through a whole week and they really are fine on 9 of their words, but the 10th one, they just keep screwing up. In the past, I'd be like, well, we'll come back to that. We got to move on. But now my plan is to add that word to a list and highlight it anytime I see it in copywork, or highlight it when we see it in our readings or different things like that, to kind of keep it coming back. And the same with like math concepts. If I'm more aware of where they're struggling, or being like, wow, that always seems to trip them up. In the past, I'd be like, well, we'll probably spiral back to that. Now my plan is to notice and then have a plan to kind of bring it back up. to just be more observant. I am just not the most observant person. I'm a little absent-minded, and it works sometimes, but not really for this. I'm not sure if it's totally serving my kids, because you have to be able to take the curriculum and use it in a way that works for your kids and for yourself. And I feel like I am more willing and interested in using the curriculum specifically for us than I have been in the past. And that's just been because I've been researching more things. I've been researching how best to teach spelling, you name it. Like, I've just been trying to be more engaged and knowledgeable so that I can be a better homeschool teacher. And additionally, when I'm thinking about curriculum, I don't want to just follow it like I've just been explaining, but I also want to look at it and use it completely, if that makes sense. Like, use it in more depth, because a lot of times I feel like I have so much going on. I have so many kids. We have so much going on. I can't do that aspect or this piece. And I've just been like, just due to sheer overwhelm, I've tossed stuff out, which is totally fine. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. But I feel like I've missed some stuff just because I feel like, oh, I can't possibly do that too. And instead, I want to use, or at least be more thoughtful about how to use some aspects of curriculum, maybe to the depth that I want to use it, only on stuff I want to use. I don't feel like I'm ever feeling tied to like some crafty thing that the curriculum suggests. I'm not going to be like, oh, I need to do every part of the curriculum. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like, instead of the overwhelm, like taking things out of curriculum, me choosing to either remove it or choosing to work harder to keep it. I don't know if that totally makes sense, but that kind of fits in a little bit to just being more engaged with our homeschool and the materials I have. And so that is kind of my second main focus for this upcoming year, is just being more engaged. So to move on to my third and final focus for the year, joy. I want to choose joy. I want to choose joy for myself and my kids. So I want to, instead of being so focused on sometimes like the 3 R's, we got to get the math, we got to da da da, is to see what we have kind of in the resources in front of us, what brings the most joy of the things we're doing. Because I'm not saying I want to go out and bring in more and more and more and more and fill it with all this stuff, because that'll just cause overwhelm and burnout. I'm more saying to like actively look at the curriculum I have chosen, all aspects of the curriculum, and figure out what is it about this curriculum that brings the most joy to myself and my kids, because I love all the curriculum, but I love it for different reasons probably than my kids. And I feel like if I can kind of tap into both of those ideas, what I love and what my kids love, I feel like our homeschool can just be joy filled. So things like, I love read alouds. I love voices. I'm not very good at making the voices, but I'm like, I think I'm going to try harder this year. I think I'm going to make it more fun. I think I'm going to make it more engaging. And I've been working on that because the literature part of our curriculum, I just love. But my kids love that part too, but they really love like science experiments. My daughter hounds me to do science experiments, and I love science. I have a PhD in science, and sometimes I just can't find the time because I need to get math, reading, writing, all those things. And instead, I'm trying to listen to her and really carve out that time and be intentional with it. Same with my son, who has just been like drawing all summer long and being like, Mom, I really want to learn how to draw. I really want to learn how to draw. And I'm like, okay. And I actually just reviewed Artistic Pursuits because we picked up the new Artistic Pursuits, the drawing one for upper elementary. And we're going to do it. We're going to dedicate a little bit more time to making sure that has space in the schedule, because in the past, it's been something that I'm easily just like, well, we don't have time for that. And I'm going to try to focus in on some of those things that bring us so much more joy while still getting math done. I mean, this is not the like, don't do the math kind of focus. It's just trying to find those little delights within what we already have to bring more joy into our homeschool. And so that is my third focus for this upcoming school year. And so I hope this all makes sense. It feels a little out there even for me, but I really want to focus on some of these things like simplicity, being more engaged in what we are doing, as well as finding those little joy-filled things within our homeschool. And I think that will really help out our year, or I'm really excited to try. I'm really excited to see what this upcoming year could bring. And so I would love to hear from you guys though. Do you often find yourself doing this sort of thing where you want to set a focus for the year or even a goal? I mean, these are kind of goals, but I guess I also set academic goals for my kids, like learn to read. I feel like these are more like higher tier goals, bigger picture goals. Maybe that's a better way to put it. And so let me know down below if you do this for your kids and for your homeschool, and I would love to hear some. Or if you don't do it, I challenge you to try. I challenge you to spend a little time and think about what you want to focus on this year and write it down and keep it somewhere accessible so it can really inspire you for the rest of the year. And so this is what has come of 4 years of homeschooling, of where I have learned that I don't need to be quite so controlling or anxious about things getting done, because I have seen the fruit of working hard with my kids and just seeing the amazing things they have learned. And so I feel like I'm settling in, and I'm settling in for a really fun journey. So that is what I have for this video. I hope it was encouraging and inspirational. And if it was, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you want to. And otherwise, I will see you guys in the next homeschool video. All right, guys, take care. Bye.